Hello, friends and artists. If you are seeing this today, Mrs. Gordon is absent. I am so sorry. But I have a really fun lesson for you. Today, we are going to make a silly sandwich. Okay, so what is a silly sandwich? Well, a sandwich is a sandwich. Um, and a silly sandwich is a sandwich that includes things that you probably wouldn't usually put on a sandwich, like maybe you're a big fan of BLTs. This is not a sandwich that would have bacon, lettuce, and tomato. Maybe you're a fan of PB&Js. This is not a. It might have peanut butter on it, but probably not. So for today's lesson, you will need a tall, skinny piece of paper. So I've just cut, or you can use a thicker piece of paper. So I'm just using a tall, skinny piece of paper, but you will need a piece of paper. You will need something to draw with, like a pencil. You will need something to make your lines dark with, like a marker or a colored pencil or a black crayon. And you will need something to add color with. So I am using colored pencils today. So to make your silly sandwich, we're going to start with a bun on the top and on the bottom. So at the very top of my page, I'm going to make, let me zoom in on this for you, a curved, like a rainbow line. Okay, so there's the top of my bun. And then at the very bottom of the page, you're going to make another curved. I'm going to flatten this one off a little bit because sometimes buns on the bottom, they're a little flat. So now you see I have two buns. I could go ahead and add some sesame seeds to the top of my bun if I wanted to. If I had drawn it down a little bit, I might have been able to add like a toothpick and a flag, or a toothpick with something in the top there. So that's an option. Now, once your buns are drawn, then, friends, you're going to start thinking of what would go in your silly sandwich. Maybe you want to make it an ice cream sandwich with all different kinds of silly ice cream, like turkey ice cream, and then you could draw a scoop of ice cream with little turkey legs on it, or dog bone ice cream. Maybe you want to pick a theme like animals and have, all different things that go along with animals in your silly sandwich. Like maybe you're going to draw a cat in it, and a dog, and a bird, and some fish bones, and, a salamander. So you make a pet sandwich. Don't eat your pets. Maybe you decide that you want to make this sandwich all about you, and you include things in your sandwich that have things to do with you. Like, I might have an art sandwich where I put in a paintbrush and some paints and some watercolors. Maybe you want to make your sandwich on the theme of a place that you visited, and you can include all different silly things about a place that you visited. Like, I love to visit Maine, so I could have a lobster in mine, and maybe a lobster trap, maybe some blueberries, because blueberries are a big part of Maine. Maybe, a seashell or something like that. So it doesn't have to be things that you could actually eat, although it can be. Maybe it's just like a silly sandwich of things that you wouldn't usually put in a sandwich. Like you wouldn't usually put an apple in a sandwich. Maybe it's related to a season. So right now, when I'm making this video, it's fall. So I could see adding some pumpkins and a pumpkin spice latte and maybe some leaves. And, so I could do that. I think I'm going to do an art sandwich, though, because I'm the art teacher. And I think I will start by putting in a pencil in my silly sandwich. So I'm going to add a pencil to my silly sandwich. And so right now I'm hoping that you're thinking of other things that have to do with art. I'm going to add number 2 on there for number 2 pencil. Maybe I'll put in a watercolor tray. Maybe I would, let's see, other things art related that I could add. Maybe I'll add a marker. Maybe I'll add some hearts because I really love art. Maybe I'll add some different kinds of lines, like zigzag lines. And since I want to try to color some of these things in, let's see, maybe I will add, an art paint palette. And if I have some paints, I probably need a paint brush, right? Look, I drew it behind a little bit there, so it looks like it's coming behind. Okay, maybe, let's see, maybe I'll add some picture frames down here. And I'll do like a portrait. I made it kind of one of those fancy gold kind of picture frames. And maybe I'll draw the Mona Lisa in it. Mona Lisa listening. Kind of looks like the Mona Lisa with the hills behind her. Make some fancy curly cues on her frame. That's how I have seen the Mona Lisa in person. When I was in high school, I went on a trip to France with my French class, and so I've seen the Mona Lisa. And maybe I'll put another piece of art over here next to her, maybe a landscape. So this is my art sandwich, friends. And I'm so excited to see what you do with your art, with your sandwich. You might make an art sandwich too, or maybe you'll make maybe you'll make some other kind of sandwich, like a themed sandwich about you. Maybe your sandwich doesn't have a theme, your silly sandwich. Maybe it's just all different kinds of things that you think wouldn't necessarily go into a sandwich. Once you finish drawing your sandwich with pencil, then you can choose to, if you want to, go over all of your lines, make them darker with either a black crayon. Although black crayon would be hard, I would lose a lot of details because it's makes such a thicker line. Maybe a black marker or a black colored pencil. I also would go back in and start to color things in. If you wanted to keep it black and white and just add more details with what you're putting in your work, that's fine with me too. But get creative with it. Really get into it. Think about what you're going to draw before you draw. And if you love what you did, take it home, share it on Schoology with me. Take a little video and share it on Schoology with me if you want. And yeah, I can't wait to see what you do. Happy art making, friends. I hope you enjoy today's lessons, and I can't wait to be back with you in person or virtually.